Vereesa Windrunner is the youngest daughter in her family with two older sisters, Ilaria being the oldest and Sylvanas being next, along with her little brother Lyrith. Life was good for the family for many years. As a young girl, she possessed a remarkable ability to diffuse conflicts among her siblings, always striving to maintain harmony within the family. Despite the tumultuous events that unfolded over the years, including Sylvanas' transformation into a Forsaken, her love for her sister remained unwavering. Even now, her heart yearns to reunite with her sisters, refusing to abandon hope for Sylvanas' redemption, despite Ilaria's occasional hostility towards her. Now we dive in before the chaos of the Second War. The young and spirited Vereesa joined the Farstriders, which is an order of Blood Elf, once High Elf elite rangers active in Quel'Thalas, swiftly becoming one of the top talents in her group. However, her zestful approach to combat earned her more than a few scoldings from tutors who mockingly likened her impatience to that of humans. Despite her training prowess, Vereesa didn't dive into the Second War action, perhaps due to a lack of battlefield experience. During that time, a mysterious fire broke out, consuming Quel'Thalas Forest during the Second War. Vereesa and Ilaria found themselves under the menacing assault of forest trolls. A stroke of luck intervened as Sylvanas and her skilled rangers swooped in to rescue them, turning the tide in their favor. Now, nearing the end of the Second War, Vereesa, still a youthful elf by her kind standards, had barely surpassed a year beyond her apprenticeship. Throughout the ebbs and flows of war, her bond with Sylvanas remained a steadfast source of support and inspiration. During this tumultuous period, the orcs launched invasions into the forests, threatening the safety of Silvermoon City, while Ilaria ventured afar with her ranger company to explore the world beyond. Vereesa and Sylvanas, the ranger general at the time, remained in Silvermoon. It was during this time that Vereesa made a decision that contradicted Sylvanas' wishes. Lyrith, desiring to emulate his sister's prowess in combat rather than merely playing music behind the city walls, he expressed his desire to learn to fight, despite Sylvanas adamantly opposing the idea. Vereesa was determined to assist her brother, believing it would ensure his safety. However, her efforts possibly inadvertently placed Lyrith in harm's way. When Vereesa admitted to training Lyrith against Sylvanas' wishes, her sister's anger boiled over. Sylvanas demanded Vereesa's removal from her sight, fearing she might act rashly. Yet Vereesa's intentions were pure, driven by a desire to protect her younger brother. Despite her sister's fury, Vereesa believed she was doing what was best for Lyrith. Nonetheless, Sylvanas remained adamant, blaming Vereesa for Lyrith's fate, convinced that his death could have been avoided had he not undergone training, believing that due to the training that he had received, made him think that he could fight the orcs that were invading the area. Before embarking through the dark portal for the daring Alliance expedition to Draenor, Ilaria had a plan. She aimed to give Sylvanas and Vereesa unique necklaces, fragments of a larger one bestowed upon her by their parents. This heartfelt gesture took a crafty turn in Stormwind, where the necklace underwent a transformation into 3 distinct lockets. Ilaria, with a keen eye for symbolism, kept the emerald locket for herself. The sapphire and ruby counterparts were entrusted to Verana, her second, with a mission to deliver them to the awaiting sisters. With Vereesa's ruby locket, a tender inscription echoed, "To Vereesa, with love, Illyria." As fate would have it, the mysterious disappearance of Ilaria and her husband Turalyon on Draenor left Vereesa with a new role to play. She embraced the responsibility of caring for their son, Eretor. Vereesa's initial mission as a ranger didn't align with her expectations. Instead of hunting orcs on Azeroth, she found herself tasked with escorting a human wizard named Ronan to Hasek, an eastern port of Lordaeron. To her surprise, their journey took an unexpected turn when they reached Hasek. Despite completing their assignment, they faced a dilemma. There were no ships available to transport Ronan to his intended destination, Casmodan. Ronan, insisting on the importance of his mission, sought unconventional means to reach Casmodan. Despite initial reluctance from a group of Wildhammer dwarves, Vereesa's trust in Ronan's cause led her to persuade them to aid their journey. With the dwarves' assistance, they embarked on a daring flight to Casmodan. As their journey unfolded, Vereesa's intuition told her that Ronan's mission held more significance than he let on. Although they became separated during the flight, Vereesa tracked Ronan's trail to Grim Batal, a horde stronghold led by the formidable Necros Skullcrusher. In this unexpected twist of fate, Vereesa's loyalty and determination propelled her into the heart of danger, revealing the true depths of her courage. Necros wielded the Demon Soul to enslave Alexstrasza and much of the Red Dragonflight. In case you don't know, the Demon Soul was an artifact of great power created by Deathwing a little before the War of the Ancients. It's a talisman with immense power that could destroy or enslave other dragons. To counter this dark threat, Coriel Strauss devised a daring plan. Disguised as the mage Krasis, he decided to send Ronan to Grimbatal. While he hoped that the Horde would be deceived into believing a full-scale invasion was coming, that was not his true aim. His true goal was to free Alexstrasza. Now I'm guessing that Coriel Strauss is going to tell Ronan to tell the Horde that there was some invasion coming, but otherwise I don't exactly know why the Horde would think an invasion is coming with just one human going to Grimbatal. I don't have the book, so I can't really look through it, but I'm guessing if the Horde saw just one human, they might assume that there were more coming, is kind of my best guess. But either way, let's continue. As the Horde evacuated Grimbatal, Deathwing made an unexpected entrance. His sinister agenda was to seize Alexstrasza's eggs and strengthen his own failing flight. Unbeknownst to all, Deathwing had aided Ronan's journey for this very purpose. Yet the tide turned when the other dragon aspects intervened. With the help of Vereesa and a band of dwarves, Ronan seized the Demon Soul from Necros, shattering its dark power. Empowered anew, Alexstrasza and her kin confronted Deathwing, forcing him to retreat into the shadows. In the aftermath of this epic adventure, Vereesa and Ronan found love's embrace, sealing their bond in marriage. After the success of the Grimbatal mission, Vereesa received a special summons from King Tyrannus and the Kirin Tor. They entrusted her with the crucial role to serve as an Alliance ambassador. Joined by Ronan, they embarked on a journey across the Alliance lands, reminding everyone of all the looming threats other than just the Orcish menace. With the good news of becoming Alliance ambassadors, there was bad news. The Scourge had ravaged Lordaeron, Dalaran, and Quel'Thalas, with Prince Arthas leading the charge. The shadows cast by the fall of Thalorian Dawnseeker and Anasterian Sunstrider marked a dark chapter in Vereesa's life. Now, while Anasterian was the leader of Quel'Thalas, and his loss would be a big blow to Vereesa, who had known him as she grew up, it doesn't say specifically why losing Thalorian was a big blow to Vereesa. He could have been a great warrior, and so she could have been friends with him, but at the end of the questline to put together the sword Quel'Dalar, she mentioned that losing those two was a big loss for her. Also, Thalorian was actually the original wielder of Quel'Dalar. So I'm just not exactly sure what made it such a big loss for losing Thalorian to her, other than the fact that she had lost so many of her people, and knowing another personally could have just hit harder, especially after losing Sylvanas, who they thought was dead for some time. Now, as I just mentioned, tragedy struck other members of Vereesa's family with brutal force during the Scourge invasion of Quel'Thalas. Among the hardest hit was her sister, Sylvanas. Sylvanas fell victim to the blade of Arthas Menethil and was resurrected as a Banshee in his dreadful service, ultimately becoming the Banshee Queen of the Forsaken. But the sorrow didn't end there. Their grandfather faced a heart-wrenching ordeal as he was forced to confront his own son, the girl's uncle, who had been twisted into an undead abomination by the Scourge's vile touch. In the wake of such tragic losses, Vereesa found herself navigating the turbulent waters of grief and resilience, her spirit tested by the unforgiving tides of fate. As Vereesa and Ronan eagerly anticipated the arrival of their twin children, Gurimar and Galadin, fate intervened once more as Ronan was being summoned by Krasis for aid. They had to travel back in time to the first invasion of the Burning Legion after a rift in time was discovered. However, in a stroke of fortune, Nozdormu granted Ronan a special gift. He ensured that Ronan would be present at Vereesa's side the moment she went into labor, ensuring he wouldn't miss a single precious moment of their children's lives. In a gesture of friendship, Nozdormu extended an offer for the twins to befriend the Bronze Dragonflight, adding a touch of magic to their lives from the very start. At one point in time, Vereesa shared a close bond with her cousins Zendare and Windrunner. Both struggled to conform to the rigid standards of High Elven society, finding solace in their shared sense of otherness. However, as the Blood Elves emerged and sought refuge in the teachings of Kael'thas Sunstrider, Zendaren found himself drawn to their cause. The agony of his withdrawal from the Sunwell's power mirrored Vereesa's own struggles with magic's grip. In moments of reflection, Vereesa pondered whether she too might have succumbed to the allure of the Blood Elves if not for Ronan's unwavering support, which guided her through the darkest hours. The birth of her sons ushered in a new chapter filled with love and devotion, serving as a beacon of light amidst the shadows of addiction and sorrow. Through the joys of motherhood, Vereesa found strength to withstand the allure of temptation and the pain of loss. Zendaren, now transformed into a blood elf and harboring a deep-seated disdain for humans, hatched a sinister plan to seize Vereesa's children. Believing that the offspring of a high elf and a human mage would wield immense magical power, he set out to kidnap them. However, his nefarious scheme ended in failure. In the novel Night of the Dragon, Vereesa resurfaces with vengeance burning in her heart. Venturing into the treacherous depths of Grim Batal, she seeks retribution against Zendaren. His latest ambition is to lay his hands on the Demon Soul, a vile creation of Deathwings, as a possible alternative magic source for his craving. But Vereesa's courage and determination foil his plans, culminating in the destruction of the Demon Soul and Zendaren himself when the stolen staff of the Naru touched the artifact. Now I have a couple of questions for this part, because it seems like the phrasing is off, or I would just need to have the books Day of the Dragon and Night of the Dragon to really get what happened and honestly understand more. But they say that the Demon Soul is destroyed in Day of the Dragon when they first left Grim Batal. At least that's what I saw. But it sounds more like it just lost all or most of its power, so it could still be used, but would need a boost of some sort from an outside source. Now during the fight, the staff of the Naru touched the Demon Soul, which from what I found normally shouldn't be possible, because the Demon Soul was shielded from all Azerothian magic. But the staff had been from Outland, and when the staff touched the Demon Soul, it expelled all of its energy when Zendaren used it. Now that's what I understood. But the very quick rundown is that Zendaren died and Vereesa was able to get her revenge for Zendaren trying to kidnap her sons. And that the Demon Soul was finally actually destroyed this time. I'd have to do a full video on the book or something to really get what is going on, because there seems to be a lot happening that I'm missing from just these little bits I'm seeing. But let's move on to the next section. Now Vereesa doesn't have a big section for Wrath, but that's because she was involved with what the Silver Covenant was doing, and I figured I would do a small chat about the Silver Covenant, but also talk about what they were up to during Wrath, and in turn talk about Vereesa at the same time. The Silver Covenant is a faction of High Elves which is led by Vereesa in Dalaran. Now there isn't a big difference between the High Elves and Blood Elves, as they are physiologically the same race, and the difference between them is really only political. I'll definitely have to do a full video on them in the future, but that's the main difference between them. When Quel'Thalas parted ways with the Alliance of Lordran, a group of High Elves made a bold decision. Despite their kingdom's departure, they remained steadfast in their loyalty to their allies. Even now, they stand firm in their support of the Alliance, a testament to their unwavering commitment to friendship and unity. Refusing to accept the Blood Elves into the Kirin Tor, they've chosen to stand apart. Instead, they've shouldered the responsibility of acting as military deterrent against any political threats from the Horde. Their counterparts within the Horde are known as the Sunreavers, mirroring their commitment to safeguarding their interests and maintaining peace amidst the ever-shifting tides of conflict. Now, during Wrath of the Lich King, the Covenant held sway over the Silver Enclave, a district exclusive to the Alliance within the city of Dalaran. Safeguarding their domain were the vigilant Silver Covenant Guardian Mages. Their duty was to ward off any Horde adventurers who dared to approach too near to the Enclave's outer walls, ensuring the Alliance's security within their stronghold. The Silver Covenant harbored deep reservations about the Horde's presence in Dalaran, especially with Garrosh Hellscream leading the charge in Northrend. In response, they forged a partnership with the Alliance and became part of the Alliance Vanguard. Vereesa Windrunner, the leader of the Silver Covenant, played a pivotal role in fueling this feud. Despite lacking political authority in the city, her disapproval of the Blood Elves was clear. However, it's worth noting that several influential figures within the city, including Archmage Modera, advocated for the readmission of the Blood Elves, highlighting the complex dynamics to play within Dalaran's walls. Some of the Silver Covenant's members enlisted as battle mages with the 7th Legion, now stationed at Winterguard Keep in the Dragonblight. Notably, they operated within the fortress's arcane sanctum, with Vast the Unstable serving as their representative. Later, they established the Silver Covenant Pavilion as their base during the Ardent Tournament, where representatives from each race of the Alliance coordinated operations. As champions of the Silver Covenant, they played a crucial role in combating the Scourge force within the Frozen Walls and their Sunreaver counterparts in Dalaran. Their mission was to reclaim the magical blade Quel'Dalar from the clutches of corruption by the Blood Queen Lanethel, who also appears as a raid boss within Icecrown Citadel. Venturing into the Sea Reaver's Run, the strait between Northrend and the island of Hrothgar's Landing, the Silver Covenant sailed their mighty ships, the Silver Blade and the Wavecrest, alongside the Sunreavers who sailed the Crimson Dawn and the Firehawk. They bravely battled the Kavaldir and their summoned Kraken, defending Icecrown shores with the aid of intrepid adventurers. Now between Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm, Vereesa did attend the wedding of Malfurion and Tyrande, but nothing noteworthy happened other than that. So we move on to the events for Vereesa in Cataclysm. When the Call of Duty beckons, Vereesa finds herself summoned by the Ranger General Silvermoon, Haldoran Brightwing, to address the looming threat of a resurgent troll empire gathering strength within Zul'Aman. Setting foot in Quothalas, she finds herself in the company of the Darkspear chieftain Vol'jin, alongside Brightwing. However, Vereesa's arrival is met with skepticism from the higher ranks of Silvermoon City. Lor'themar Theron, the city's leader, sends a messenger to question her presence in Quothalas. Undeterred, Vereesa passionately defends her right to stand on the soil of her homeland, vowing not to let it succumb to the ancient enemy. Haldoran steps in, revealing that he personally invited Vereesa to bolster his Farstriders, recognizing the need for additional reinforcements in the face of the looming threat. With tensions eased, the two Ranger Generals, along with Vol'jin, convene to strategize and prepare for the impending battle ahead. After they strategize, the Hordor Alliance enters Zul'Aman to counter the threat within. When Jaina Proudmoore unearths treachery within Dalaran's walls, Vereesa swiftly mobilized the Silver Covenant to aid the Kirin Tor and Alliance forces in purging the Horde from the city. Their mission was to root out the Sunreaver involvement in Garrosh Hellscream's schemes, including the theft of the Divine Bell using Dalaran portals to infiltrate Darnassus. At the forefront of the action, Vereesa and the Silver Covenant played a pivotal role in preventing Sunreaver escape attempts and quelling any Horde resistance within Dalaran. They ensured that no sympathizers slipped through the cracks, neutralizing any threats to the city's security. Now this event is known as the Purge of Dalaran for an obvious reason, but Jaina had the wrong guy. She believed that Archmage Aethys Sunreaver stole the Divine Bell, which was kept under lock and key within Darnassus. But in reality it was Garrosh who orchestrated it, and Aethys didn't know anything about it. While it was a Sunreaver agent, the agent was acting on orders from Garrosh. Now with the idea that Aethys was behind it, there was a quest to purge Dalaran of all Blood Elves from the city. But it wasn't just capturing them. You did capture some, but not all. You would kill those who were also just fleeing and not fighting from what I've read on it. I'll have to do the full quest to get the whole story of it, and I would like to do a video on it at some point. It's just another topic that I think deserves its own video. Now while serving as a secondary leader of the Kirin Tor offensive near Shadowpan Garrison, Vereesa's concerns extended beyond the immediate threat of Lei Shen's return. With her husband's death weighing heavily on her heart, she remained wary of the Horde's presence on the Isle of Thunder. Fearful of the havoc they could wreak if they gained access to Lei Shen's powers, Vereesa was driven by a dual purpose: to protect the world from potential catastrophe, and to seek vengeance for Ronan's demise. As events unfolded, Vereesa found herself alongside Jaina at the Bloodied Crossing, facing the fierce Mogu forces in battle. Together they emerged victorious against Shanbu, witnessing the tense confrontation between Jaina and Lor'themar. Despite Vereesa's reluctance to retreat, Jaina's words struck a chord, reminded that vengeance wouldn't bring back her husband. She reluctantly retreated after that realization and got to safety with Jaina. Continuing her courageous journey, Vereesa joined King Varian Wryn's forces in the fight to seize Bladefist Bay from Hellscream's grip. Amidst the chaos of battle, she played a crucial role in the Galakras encounter, standing firm alongside her allies in the face of adversity. Now we move on to the events within the book War Crimes, which showed the trial of Garrosh for his crimes during Pandaria. Vereesa stood by Jaina's side as they faced the trial of Garrosh Hellscream, her heart heavy with grief and fury over the loss of her husband. Fueled by a desire for vengeance, Vereesa yearned for justice to be served swiftly and decisively. However, as the trial unfolded, Vereesa's hopes began to wane. It seemed increasingly likely that Garrosh might escape with lesser punishment, or even walk free. Unwilling to accept such an outcome, Vereesa turned to Sylvanas, seeking a more permanent solution. Sending her ruby necklace as a token of trust, which was originally sent to Vereesa from Illyria, Illyria sent a necklace to her sisters as a way to ensure they knew that she was thinking of them. Within the locket, Illyria inscribed, "To Vereesa, with love, Illyria." And within Sylvanas' locket, it reads, "To Sylvanas, love always, Illyria." Vereesa arranged a clandestine meeting at Windrunner Spire. There, she implored Sylvanas for a potent poison, hoping to end Garrosh's life once and for all. Despite their initial wariness, the sisters found common ground as they reminisced about their pasts, their shared losses, and the paths they had each chosen. Through their unexpected bond, Vereesa found solace and strength. knowing that even in the darkest of times, family could offer a glimmer of light and understanding. As Vereesa and Sylvanas forged their unlikely alliance, Vereesa began to question her allegiance to the alliance. Sensing her sister's uncertainty, Sylvanas extended a tempting offer. Vereesa could join her ranks in the Forsaken and share in ruling power. Together they could wield unparalleled influence, shaping their own destiny as Windrunners. Impressed by the effectiveness of their plan to eliminate Garrosh, a feat neither the Horde nor the Alliance had achieved, Vereesa found herself drawn to Sylvanas' proposition. Though hesitant at first, she agreed to entertain the idea, intrigued by the prospect of a new path and the promise of wielding significant influence alongside her sister. On the solemn day in court, Vereesa was confronted with the heart-wrenching sight of Ronan's final moments in Theramore, revealed through the haunting vision of time. She saw how Ronan sacrificed himself to ensure that the mana bomb coming for Theramore was going to stay more localized within Jaina's tower, which had protective magic in and out of it. He couldn't escape because he had to keep casting the spell to ensure the bomb got into the tower to try and reduce casualties and ensure the blast radius wouldn't reach to Vereesa. Along with that, he made sure that Jaina made it out alive so she could lead the Kirin Tor. Overwhelmed by sorrow and rage at her husband's sacrifice, she sought solace in the dark embrace of Tirisfal Glades. It was there that she met with Sylvanas, who had provided the means to end Garrosh's life, a poison of superior potency. Vereesa, drawn to the eerie beauty of the glades, found herself growing fond of the place that would soon become her new home. Little did she know, Sylvanas harbored a hidden agenda. Unbeknownst to Vereesa, her sister planned to end her life and resurrect her as a powerful banshee, ensuring their eternal rule over the Forsaken. While Vereesa's affinity for Tirisfal Glades pleased Sylvanas, the full extent of her sister's intention remained veiled in darkness. Immersing herself in the bustling kitchens of the temple, Vereesa seized the opportunity to access Garrosh's meal. Setting aside any hesitation, she skillfully laced his food with the deadly poison, marking a pivotal step in her mission. As the weight of her actions settled upon her, Vereesa found herself torn between her allegiance with Sylvanas and her responsibilities as a mother. While the allure of ruling alongside her sister and reclaiming her place in Silvermoon beckoned, unexpected encounters with the cook, Mulam Shao, and a poignant meeting with Anduin Wrynn stirred feelings of longing for her sons back in Dalaran. Realizing that her children had no place in the Forsaken's realm, Vereesa made the difficult choice to return to Dalaran, vowing never to abandon her boys again. With a heavy heart, she penned a letter to Sylvanas, informing her of her decision. For Sylvanas, Vereesa's departure dealt a devastating blow. Having trusted her sister deeply, she had let her guard down, unaware of the imminent fracture in their alliance. Before departing, Vereesa confided in Anduin about her plan to poison Garrosh, entrusting the fate of the war chief to the young prince. In that moment, Anduin faced a weighty decision, whether to intervene and save Garrosh, or to let events unfold as Vereesa intended. In an act of mercy and compassion, Anduin chose to spare Garrosh's life, electing to rescue him from the brink of death. Despite this decision, he remained loyal to Vereesa, honoring her trust by keeping her secret safe. Upon receiving the intel about Illyria's location, Vereesa wasted no time. At this point, Illyria was still with the Army of Light, so no one really knew where she was or even if she was actually alive. Journeying to the Darkstone Isle on the Broken Shore, she united with the Farstriders to strategize a daring rescue mission, seeking aid from the mysterious leader-to-be of the Unseen Pack, which is the player character. Vereesa faced a daunting challenge, trusting a demon's word. Despite her reservations, Vereesa chose to gamble on the demon's claim that Illyria and her legendary bow were held captive on the Legion-infested world of Niskara. While Ranger Orestes voiced concern over the deeply personal nature of the mission, Vereesa insisted it was solely to recover a vital asset. Determined to proceed cautiously, she barred Orestes from joining until Illyria's presence was confirmed. However, he defied her orders, risking his life to forge ahead. As Vereesa navigated the treacherous terrain of Niskara, she encountered fierce resistance. Tragically, Orestes fell in battle, urging Vereesa to press on and rescue Illyria.
It's so cold.
Orestes! Orestes!
Good luck, friends. Save Illyria.
Rest in the light, Orestes.
Despite a harrowing encounter with a demonic inquisitor, Illyria remained elusive, leaving behind only her bow as a tantalizing lure.
I felt those eyes peering into my soul. Had you not freed me, Enough. I must know if Valeria was truly held captive here, or if this was all a ruse to trap us. Valeria was here. Her bow's presence is the proof. Doubtless she escaped, and the Inquisitor sought to use me to lure her back.
Vereesa resolved to inform Haldoran Brightwing of Aresta's sacrifice. Through the shadows of loss and uncertainty, she recognized the Hunter Champion as a beacon of hope and valor, honoring them as a hero worthy of standing alongside her legendary sister. After her daring mission, Vereesa returned to True Shot Lodge, where she shared the details of her journey with Haldoran, proudly representing the Silver Covenant within the ranks of the Unseen Path, a coalition of hunters from across Azeroth. Vereesa pledged her order's support to the newly appointed leader. Embracing her role as a member of the Unseen Path, Vereesa joined forces with her fellow hunters in a pivotal battle against Hakar the Houndmaster within the confines of the Violet Hold. Together they fought valiantly to secure victory and safeguard their world from the threat he posed. Vereesa, alongside Tyrande and her Vigilant Sentinels, embarks on a crucial mission to Suramar. Leading a contingent of Silver Covenant war mages, they rally to support the Nightfallen rebels in their valiant struggle to reclaim their city from the clutches of the Burning Legion. Driven by a burning desire for vengeance following the loss of Ronan and King Varian, Vereesa remains wary of the nearby Horde forces under Lady Liadrin and Grandmaster Romoth. Despite her reservations, a fragile truce is forged between the opposing armies, albeit with tension simmering beneath the surface. An uneasy alliance takes shape. Kirantor guards observe Vereesa's fiery confrontations with Romoth, with Khadgar forced to intervene to prevent bloodshed on more than one occasion. Amidst the turmoil, Vereesa grapples with the surreal reality of sharing a camp with the Kaldarai, acknowledging the dire circumstances that have brought them together. Now in the wiki, it says that Vereesa was surprised to be sharing a camp with the Kaldarai, but as far as I know and from what I was able to research, the Kaldarai are just the Night Elves, and so I don't exactly get why she's surprised to be sharing a camp with the Night Elves since she is on the Alliance side, and she's worked with the Alliance and the Night Elves multiple times. But I could be missing something for why she is surprised. But I didn't see a specific quest for when she mentions that, so I couldn't really confirm it or get the full context. But in the future, I plan to play through all of Legion so I can hopefully get the full story of what's going on there. And maybe she wasn't specifically talking about the Kaldarai, but maybe the Blood Elves or the Highborn, possibly. But it just says Kaldarai, so from what I saw in the wiki, the Kaldarai is just the Night Elves. Unless they're talking about Ajara, which is also possible if she turned into Naga. So, I'm not exactly sure, but let's continue. With the fate of Suramar hanging in the balance, Vereesa navigates the delicate balance of trust and treachery, knowing that the impending battle will test the limits of their resolve and unity. In the heat of the battle, Vereesa joins forces with the Elven army as they launch a daring assault on Suramar. Together, they bravely press forward, facing relentless opposition until they stand at the very gates of the imposing Nighthold itself. As tensions reach a boiling point, Grand Magistrix Elisanda emerges to confront the rebels, her disdain for Vereesa and her kin evident in her cutting words. With cruel mockery, she belittles the Quel'Darai, which is another name for the High Elves, as mere peasants, masquerading as nobility, dismissing their proud heritage and condemning their mingling with other races. With a flick of her hand, Elisanda unleashes the full force of her time-warping magic, ensnaring the entire Elven army, Vereesa included, in a relentless temporal prison. Trapped in a frozen moment, they are left powerless to resist, their valiant efforts thwarted by the sinister machinations of the Grand Magistrix. Later on, when she's accompanied by her nephew Eretor, Vereesa embarks on a journey to Argus aboard the remarkable dimensional ship, the Vindicar. Amidst the vast expanse of the cosmos, she bears witness to a heartfelt reunion, the long-awaited return of her sister Illyria and Illyria's beloved husband, Turalyon. As the family gathers, Eretor broaches the difficult topic with Vereesa, pondering the fate of Sylvanas and the delicate matter of which to disclose that to their mother. With a heavy heart, Vereesa confides in Eretor, expressing her apprehension at the prospect of revealing the painful truth to Illyria, knowing all too well the anguish it will bring. When Vereesa shared the news with Illyria that Sylvanas had become the war chief of the Horde, Illyria struggled to accept the revelation, grappling with the Horde's turbulent history with their people. Uncertain of how to broach the sensitive topic of Sylvanas' undead status, Vereesa hesitated, questioning whether the timing and setting were appropriate. As Illyria sought clarity, Vereesa recognized the need for a private conversation to address her sister's concerns. Vereesa resolved to find the right moment to reveal the unsettling truth. But right now was not the time. Following Sargeras' imprisonment by the Pantheon at the seat of the Pantheon, Vereesa observed the profound transformation in Illyria as she grappled with newfound void powers beyond her comprehension. Despite the changes, Vereesa cherished the unwavering bond with her sister, acknowledging Illyria's evolution while holding on to the essence of who she truly was. Finally, Vereesa was able to tell the truth about what happened to Sylvanas. Understanding the weight of Sylvanas' revelation on Illyria, Vereesa recognized the importance of addressing the matter directly, acknowledging that certain issues demanded a personal confrontation. With resolve in her heart, Vereesa knew that the Windrunner sisters needed to come together, and there was only one place suitable for such a pivotal encounter. They had to meet together at their home, Windrunner Spire. In the heart of the Silver Enclave, Vereesa gathered her sons to discuss the imminent reunion of the Windrunner sisters. As they pondered the prospect of healing old wounds, Gurimar expressed hope that their family could come back together and fix the problems from the past. However, Galadin's skepticism prevailed as he condemned Aunt Sylvanas for her alliance with the Horde, the very faction that had taken their father's life. Amidst the debate, Gurimar urged for empathy, suggesting that branding others as evil might only provoke them to embrace darkness further. On the contrary, Galadin remained steadfast in his distrust of the undead, skeptical of any potential goodness within them. Vereesa intervened, reminding her sons of the unbreakable bond they shared as brothers, hinting at the strength they might find in each other in times of need, a sentiment echoed in her own memories of past times with her sisters. With a final embrace, Vereesa bid her sons farewell, their agreement to her wisdom resonating in the air. As she stepped into the shimmering embrace of a Silver Covenant portal, Vereesa carried with her the hope of reconciliation and the echoes of familial resilience. Arriving in the serene embrace of Eversong Woods, Vereesa and Illyria reunited in their cherished sanctuary. With tender affection, Illyria greeted her sister as Little Moon, evoking fond memories of their shared past. Vereesa, with her radiant locks, reciprocated by playfully calling Illyria Lady Sun, as she did when they were growing up. Though with Illyria's recent entanglement with the Void, she felt she could no longer carry that name. Curious about Illyria's experience with the Void, Vereesa sought reassurance from her sister. Illyria affirmed her resilience against the darkness, crediting her unwavering love for her family as her guiding light. As they delved into their shared history, they reminisced about the tumultuous events that unfolded during Illyria's absence. From the Alliance-Horde conflict ignited by Garrosh Hellscream to the tragic loss of Ronan and the devastation of Theramore. Their conversation turned to Sylvanas, whose mysterious nature troubled Vereesa. Despite a brief collaboration to seek retribution against Garrosh, Vereesa's growing unease led her to warn Anduin Wrynn, thwarting the plot to poison the former warchief. Illyria, however, found solace in returning to their homeland, finding hope in the prospect of a fresh start amidst cherished memories of their shared past and their beloved brother, Lyrith Windrunner. Their nostalgic reflection was interrupted by Sylvanas, whose unexpected presence stirred a mix of emotions. Despite initial surprise, Illyria extended a warm greeting to Sylvanas, reverting to an old nickname, Lady Moon. In the shadowed realm of the Ghostlands, Sylvanas recounted the tragic tale of Arthas Menethel's ruthless assault on Quel'Thalas to Illyria. Equipped with skeletal steeds, the Windrunner siblings embarked on a mission to cleanse their ancestral lands of the undead Scourge. Amidst their journey, they engaged in a playful game of One is a Lie, sharing anecdotes and secrets along the way. Their path led them to Golden Mist Village, where spectral echoes of their past haunted the landscape. As they battled the haunting shades, tension simmered between the sisters. Illyria accused Sylvanas of orchestrating Vereesa's involvement in Garrosh Hellscream's demise, sparking a heated exchange. Sylvanas in turn defended her actions, revealing that it was Vereesa's plan to poison Garrosh, and that she is to blame for Garrosh's action afterwards. Garrosh was able to escape to an alternate Draenor that was set 35 years in the past, which from what I was able to find, seems like how he ends up in the Warlords of Draenor. Now back to the sisters. Fueled by rage, Sylvanas unleashed her banshee powers upon the Shades, revealing a darker side of her nature. Horrified by her sister's brutality, Ilaria succumbed to the whispers of the void, denouncing Sylvanas as irredeemable. Sylvanas retorted that she was forced into undeath, while Ilaria chose to become a void abomination. As tensions flared between the sisters, Vereesa intervened, expressing her own grievances. "Stop it! Neither of you was there when I needed you. You both let me think you were dead. Do you know what that did to me? You were my heroes. We've all lost so much. Must we lose everything, again?" Attempting to defuse the situation, Vereesa urged them to focus on their shared goal of reclaiming their homeland from the undead. In a moment of vulnerability, Vereesa shared her deepest truths, her hopes for reconciliation with the Blood Elves, her lingering grief over Ronan's death, and her envy of Ilaria's bond with Turalyon. Ilaria, in turn, confided her doubts about her relationship with Turalyon and the fractures within their family. Sylvanas' answers were, there are times she wished she was still alive. She is proud to be the war chief of the Horde, and the last one was she would never betray her sisters. However, when it came time for Sylvanas to reveal her truths, she remained silent, refusing to participate. Accepting the fractures within their family, Ilaria created a void portal to return Vereesa to Dalaran, symbolically dropping their necklaces from the spire. Before departing, Vereesa tearfully apologized to Sylvanas for her change of heart regarding their plot with Garrosh, expressing hope for forgiveness. With a heavy heart, she bid farewell to her sisters and returned to her sons in Dalaran. After the two sisters departed, it was revealed which of Sylvanas' statements was actually a lie. She had rangers waiting in the trees for Sylvanas to give a signal to kill her sisters, but she changed her mind, stating that, in the end, they will serve death. They will serve me. In a strategic move to thwart Sylvanas and address the looming threat of N'Zoth, Varrock Sourfang and the Alliance prepared to confront her forces in Orgrimmar. Their camp set in Razor Hill, they readied for battle. However, their plans took an unexpected turn when Vereesa and Ilaria approached Varrock and Anduin with a proposition. Ilaria, aware of the grave danger posed by N'Zoth, suggested that Sylvanas might hold the key to defeating the Old God with their formidable army. She proposed that the Alliance and Horde revolutionaries step aside and allow Sylvanas to tackle this greater threat. Yet Anduin, mindful of Sylvanas' treachery and her role in the catastrophe at Queen Ajara's hands, countered Ilaria's proposal. He stressed that Sylvanas couldn't be trusted, and that defeating her was imperative before they faced further calamity. Acknowledging the necessity of dealing with Sylvanas first, Ilaria conceded. She and Vereesa pledged to scout Sylvanas' defenses, seeking out weaknesses in preparation for the impending battle. With this agreement, the Alliance and Horde revolutionaries united in their resolve to confront Sylvanas and ensure the safety of Azeroth. As Vereesa braced herself to confront Sylvanas' formidable forces, Varrock Sourfang, torn between loyalty to the Horde and his disdain for Sylvanas' tyranny, took a bold stand. Recognizing the need to end the bloodshed among the Horde, Sourfang issued a challenge to Sylvanas, a duel known as Mat Gara. In a tense confrontation, Sourfang's words struck a chord with Sylvanas, leading her to confess her true feelings about the Horde.
The Horde is nothing! If you could see yourselves as I see you. Toy soldiers in tin plate. Beasts who howl for honor. Standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
In a swift and decisive move, she struck down Sourfang, revealing her disregard for the very faction she once led. Sylvanas' defection shook the foundations of the Horde, prompting her former loyalists to rally behind Sourfang's cause. With Sylvanas gone and Sourfang's revolution gaining momentum, the Horde found unity once more. In the wake of Sourfang's sacrifice and Sylvanas' departure, Vereesa and the Alliance forces chose to withdraw from Durotar, their mission to confront Sylvanas' forces now altered by an unexpected turn of events. As the events in Shadowlands drew to a close, Sylvanas experienced a profound reunion with a fragment of her soul that had long been absent. With the jailer defeated, Vereesa and Ilaria journeyed to Oribos to witness Sylvanas' trial, presided over by none other than her longtime adversary, Tyrande Whisperwind. Tyrande's verdict was swift. Sylvanas was tasked with a daunting penance, to venture into the Maw and liberate the souls trapped within, particularly those of the Night Elves she had condemned. Without hesitation, Sylvanas accepted her fate. sharing a final glance with Vereesa and Ilaria before plunging into the abyss. Remaining in the Ring of Transference, Vereesa and Ilaria reflected on their profound losses in the hope that one day Sylvanas would complete her redemption. They held on to that belief. Perhaps then, they could reunite with the sister they once knew. Hey there everyone, this is Chris. Hopefully you enjoyed the Vereesa video. This one was interesting. She doesn't really have a big presence, really, until Legion. She popped in here and there, but a lot of it was more supporting than anything. And then finally, after Legion is when she got more involved in the story. Cataclysm, she kind of popped in more, but it was interesting to try and figure out and check different things, but I'm sure I missed a bunch of different things. Like I mentioned before, there's a whole lot of things that I want to do full videos for, because I'm only getting snidbits of stuff, and it's not totally clear sometimes why certain things are happening for me when I have to try and figure out through the wiki. But hopefully everyone enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Do take care of yourself.